This will just have to do. So this is for Jeff. He suggested one on the elliptical, and I've just been interacting with Trip and Jess some on Voxer. And I've just been talking about, okay, so Jess P on the Discord, made this comment a while ago. Sorry about my breathing. This is gonna be really fun to watch. Just don't look at it. But he made this comment a while ago about Paul's videos because, so Chad the alcoholic, hopefully Chad, you won't care that I share this. Paul probably won't watch anyhow, but the other day, Chad got upset because Paul was wanting to clarify what he meant by real, and he was always caging his words. And Chad was like, why do we gotta do that? Just talk, who cares? And then Jess asked the question, and he said it's just something he's been thinking about for a while. I think in relation to Paul, but also in relation to tons of people when they're talking, is he just thought, as he's been watching it, and I think kind of zoomed out and maybe third person and was just kind of like, who are you talking to? And I think it's a good thing to think of. Who are you talking to when you're talking? And I think it's probably a hard thing to do live, but I think what he's getting at is something that came up in the Randos OG conversation. And I think Jeff P said it. But he said, when we were talking about Sam, and he said, very often when we're talking to somebody, we don't, sorry, I gotta wipe sweat because it gets gross. See, but he was saying often when we talk to people, we're not really talking to them, we're talking to an avatar. We're talking to a projection of our own ego and probably our fears. A lot of it probably has to do with this height, disgust impulse where, what are we afraid of? How are they going to infringe upon us? How are they going to threaten our self-identity? How are they going to threaten my safety? How are they going to whatever? And when you're doing that, you're not actually, I would argue in an Ian McGilchrist way, you're totally in left brain mode. The left brain is being the master, and you are not open, because the right brain and the left brain should work in tandem. And this is another pet peeve of mine, quick aside. People say it's not right, it's not right brain versus left brain. Of course it's not. It's the master and the emissary. The right brain is always the master, because the right brain sees what the left brain doesn't. The right brain sees the irreducible territory. It sees what the left brain cannot see, which is necessary for error correction, because if you close off your organ or your imagination or your perceptive capacity to see what you don't see, you're screwed. You can't improve. You cannot change your salience landscape, and you can't change your vision. So that's bad. And that's what ideologues do, and that's what leads to utopianism and the benevolent dictator that C.S. Lewis talked about. So often when we're, air quote, talking to people, we're not talking to people. We're talking to avatars. We're talking to ourselves. We're talking to projections. And to quote Paul Vanderklay, people are not to be used or feared. People are to be loved. And I think there's a different mode that we can get into, which is, it may be called free speech. You may want to call it good faith arguments. You may want to philosophia, dialogos. It's not a competition hierarchy, that's for sure. Because if you're just talking to somebody to win an argument, what are you winning? Jordan Peterson will talk about that in a marriage. Your goal shouldn't be to win. If you win, you lose. Your goal should be further up, further in. Love, mutual edification, growth. The hand is not the eye, is not the foot. The eye is not against the hand. We are all members of one body. So, I guess what I want to advocate, and I'll stop because it's probably annoying, is actually talking to persons, which includes the right brain. It includes what you don't know. It includes the transcendent, because people are icons, so they are immanent, but also simultaneously transcendent. And that's where you engage in real talking, and that's where you participate in the logos and spirited breath. versus de-spirited breath, which is words divorced of their personhood. And I don't know, one leads to technological babble and death and identitarianism, which is pretty much where we are now, and the other leads to life and renewal. So talk to people, don't non-talk to avatars. All right, how do I close this?